Hey everyone, welcome to our third podcast for Ouachita Valley Federal Credit Union. My name is Jessica Wilson. I'm the VP of Marketing for Ouachita Valley. And today I'm so honored to have Joel Turner here with me. I'm going to let him introduce himself and kind of talk about what he does for the credit union, and then we'll just dive right in.
Hey, I'm Joel Turner. Been in the mortgage business for, 20 plus years now, and been with Ouachita Valley for just going on my second year. And I am the Director of Mortgage Services there. So very excited to be a part of the credit union and the credit union movement.
Well, Joel brings a lot of expertise, and we're so lucky to have him. And, we're here in March, springtime, and I know it's a lot of excitement about, the mortgage, department, and it's a lot of the time when y'all kind of pick up traffic and people are thinking about moving or selling or buying their first home. And so I kind of just want to dig in and start by asking, as far as, the mortgage approval and the process, how does that work for someone?
Right. So I guess springtime is kind of when we say that we jump into the mortgage business as far as the season starts, usually around tax time, warmer temperatures. So people get a little bit more antsy about getting out, shopping for homes or maybe redoing their current home.
Right.
But we start the process with the pre-qualification. It's going to be basically just a short form application that we start with. It is a credit inquiry that's involved, so it's a hard inquiry, but that kind of gets us to where we can look at your income, your assets, your credit, and make sure we can get you qualified for a mortgage.
Okay. So I know a lot of people may come in, to the credit union and they may be a little apprehensive about their credit. What would you suggest in your position, if someone's trying to prepare to get approval for a mortgage, what would you say were the key factors in making sure that they were ready, their credit's ready, and they know what to expect coming in?
Well, the main thing is a huge part is credit. We are not necessarily focused on a credit score, so to speak, but we are looking at credit history. So if you have the ability to look at your credit, I know we have some tools on our app.
Yes.
You can go and look and see kind of where your score is. That would then kind of dictate maybe where your history is, and that can lead you into maybe finding out what is causing, maybe some issues that we can discuss, whether that's some high credit card balances that maybe be paid down. If they're paid down, that score usually goes up. If there's some old accounts, probably just need to leave them alone, let them go away, and then your score will kind of organically improve.
And that's another thing is I get this question a lot is I'm looking to buy a home, but I'm not a member of Ouachita Valley Federal Credit Union. Well, if you live, work, worship, attend school in any of the 17 parishes that we serve, which, there's a lot of parishes that we serve. So there is so many ways to get involved and to be a member of Ouachita Valley. And once you have that savings account with us, you can, apply for a mortgage. So I do want to, invite those that are interested in maybe talking to you, just come sit down and have a conversation. I know I had a phone call the other night and a lady said, I'm looking to buy a home. What do I need to do? I said, go have a conversation with Joel. He's not going to bite you. It's an easy process. And I feel like it's a much easier process having, you to facilitate the whole. It's people think about all the paperwork, and you've got two ladies in the department that are going to assist you with that and answer all questions. So I just want people to feel comfortable coming in the credit union and having those conversations. So one, hot topic right now are mortgage interest rates, how it affects, their monthly payment. What can you tell me right now about interest rates and how that can affect their monthly payment?
Well, interest rates are pretty much determined by supply and demand of money. So as we have more money, then usually rates are generally lower, and vice versa. When we have less money, then rates are higher.
Right.
But in order to get your individual rate, that's going to be lender to lender, and it's also going to be dictated by credit score, loan program, all the different factors to determine your own individual interest rate. So there's a lot of different factors there.
And I know a lot of people are saying, well, the economy right now, like I can't afford a monthly note. I can't, afford the down payment. I can't afford, to increase. And I know at Ouachita Valley, we have acquired some loan products as far as in our mortgage department that are assisting with the down payment. One in particular is our down payment assistance. Can you tell me what it is, how do people apply, and what the requirements are for that?
It's the best loan program that I've ever come across in my time.
I will, and I hate to cut you off, but talking about this loan product, I can say just seeing people come in that never thought that they would be a homeowner, that never saw that happen, and to see them become a homeowner, because we do have products like this. And I just cut you off, and I'm so excited. This is one loan product that I think that if we could shout from the rooftops, this would probably be it, because to get out of the rental cycle and to get in your own home and become a homeowner, this product that you're about to talk about to me is, this is one of our best products.
So this is 100% financing. So The only other options for 100% financing are USDA rural development and VA. So if you're not a veteran and you're not in a rural designated area, then you have really no options for 100% financing.
Right.
So this allows you to get to a home with literally no money, down as far as down payment. Yes, there are closing costs, but you can get the seller to pay closing costs. You can get a gift from family for closing costs, but there's no mortgage insurance. Mortgage insurance is usually a huge factor with people, and they don't want to pay that extra money for not making that 20% down payment.
Right.
So,
and I know, just having people come in and talk about it, they literally came to the table with nothing because, like you just mentioned, the sellers paid the closing cost. And it's just really, like it's just fulfilling to see these people, say, I'll never own a home because they couldn't, come up with the 20%, required down payment. But the DPA loan, as we refer to it, is just a very good product for those who want to get into a home and out of the rental cycle and become a homeowner. Right. Now, there's always qualifications with mortgage for the DPA loan, the down payment assistance loan. What are the qualifications that you guys are looking for?
So credit-wise, it's going to be probably 620 and above.
Which is not that's not a hard credit score to meet,
Right. Right. Yeah, if you're just making your payments on time, then you're going to qualify.
Yes.
Going to look for somebody like a 45% debt to income ratio. And that's kind of what we're, I guess, basing it off of. No late payments in the last 12 months. But this is a 30-year fixed rate loan that we're going to keep at Ouachita Valley. It's not going to be sold. So a lot of people, they get upset when their mortgage is sold.
Yes.
But this is
staying local. It's staying here. And another thing, and, we harp on relationships. And so to me, I'm still in the, old school way of thinking is I like to come in and sit down and talk to someone. And if I have questions about my mortgage, they can call you directly, stop by the credit union, see you or one of, the ladies in the mortgage department and answer those questions. Besides the DPA loan, which is the down payment assistance, what are some other loan products that we have available out there?
I would say our niche is probably home equity, line of credit, and also land. So those are probably, what we're doing the majority of. Our home equity line of credit is great. Rates just dropped when prime dropped at the end of the year. So we're excited about that. Maybe get, a few more opportunities to look at helping people with their,
And that's another thing that we've been talking about recently, or people are looking for a manageable way to consolidate their debt into one payment, save money there monthly for their families, home improvements. There's so many different things that can be used. And if somebody's in the, has equity in their home, what would you suggest them doing? What's the process for that?
Well, we need to have a conversation, one, to find out, is there a first mortgage? Because this will be a second mortgage if there is. And we'll look at, what they have as far as value in the home to know what we have as far as lendable equity. We'll go up to a maximum of 85% of their value. So we're going to take, the appraised value, then that's their first mortgage, and that's pretty much what you have left over, up to 85% of that. And so we'll discuss options as far as consolidation, or we're going to do home improvements. What is it that they're looking to do to improve their property?
That's right. Now I know another thing right now is, like you just said, supply and demand, the housing market and, all the things that come into it. What do you see? And I definitely don't want to, make anyone feel bad, but what are some common mistakes that you've seen in your profession when people are, house shopping? What would you tell them to be aware of in these situations?
I guess reading the fine print. A lot of times people get quoted rates over the phone, but they're not getting quoted the fees.
That's right.
So, bring those to us. Let us look at, what the offer is, and we'll advise you. If we're, not competitive, we'll let you know. But most likely we're going to be able to compete with what everybody else is offering you if it's on the up and up.
And, buying a house, like, we've mentioned, it's kind of a nerve-wracking process. And, the appraisals and all the things that have to be done, it's quite timely and, it's a stressful situation. But I know, with Ouachita Valley, there are awesome benefits as well as being a member. Can you tell us about the benefits of taking your home mortgage through Ouachita Valley? Are there any benefits in particular that you can think of?
Well, the biggest benefit is having that personal touch, being able to come in, have the conversation with somebody and not getting the automated runaround.
Yes.
You call in, you're going to get a live person. The people in the mortgage department, they're all licensed mortgage.
Yes.
So we all have the knowledge to be able to answer your questions. But it also builds, I guess, that relationship with Ouachita Valley for other products as well that we offer.
Yes. Before we close, if there is someone in the market, that, maybe looking like, okay, I don't want to take that leap yet. I don't want to, I would encourage them to come talk to us about the different mortgage products. There are several different, options that you have available. But as far as, pre-qualifying and getting on that, what is the time process of if you're finding a home, what does that length look like as far as from beginning to end?
We always quote somewhere around 30 to 45 days from start to finish. We just never want to overpromise something we can't deliver.
Right.
So we want to set an expectation maybe a little bit further out, but then we're going to close it, as quickly as we can to keep, everyone happy.
And that's, 30 to 45 days is nothing,
Right. By the time you have appraisal,
Yes.
getting information from the member, it flies by.
That is awesome. Well, Joel, I appreciate you coming on and talking about mortgage. I encourage anyone who's out there that, may be thinking about buying their home or selling a home or anything, with, home improvements to come give Ouachita Valley a chance. We have amazing mortgage products, and I know your department works really hard at making sure that everybody leaves happy and with their new home and, maybe making those home improvements. So I appreciate you coming on today and talking about it. So thank y'all so much for tuning in and listening to Joel and all the things that we had to talk about today. And we'll see you next month on the next Ouachita Valley podcast.